We got a lot of shit to talk about, man. I'm all hyped up. George and I really haven't been at this for a little while.
No, we were going to shoot earlier this week, but things just didn't work out logistically, and it's almost glad we waited because the Heat won last night, but we'll get to that later.
Yes.
The Heat should have won game 1 too, and you know what? I thought they were going to lose game last night when they tend to like slack.
Yeah,
Anyway.
Real quick, we obviously George and I always talk about uncutsports.com, but I want to take time to say, have you guys gone and get your ass to iTunes and download
the Kevin White Comedy Podcast? That shit is hilarious. He talks about everything.
I talk about everything, me and my co-host Sky. So if you guys haven't had a chance to go to iTunes. Vanilla Sky.
Seriously, that's the worst movie ever made.
It is the worst movie ever
sweet
made.
Jesus. Except for Joe versus Volcano. That shit was terrible
Joe
too.
versus Volcano. That is right. We should have a contest to see what is the most. You know what? We're going to put that in this video as well. What is the worst movie ever fucking made?
The Burbs.
The Burbs.
Joe versus Volcano. Or Vanilla Sky. Castaway. There's some bad. And unfortunately, I've seen all of it.
Anyway, but yeah, the Kevin White Show. Find it on iTunes. Download it. Subscribe to it. Also, if you guys get a chance, George just fucking spun his podcast out, The Uncut Truth.
And I did what I said I was going to do. First show's me and Jimmy, and I have a feeling it's going to be a lot of me and Jimmy. And I also did the most recent shows with Master Negro or Andy.
Right.
My next 2 shows are going to be with Sneaks in the Street, and then that one.
I'll be on that.
So, and then once I'm done with Kevin, I got to find a new co-host.
That's right. That means that shit's open to all you people that watch the show. George is taking co-host.
I think it's going to be Chase Oliver. Because there were 2 people who emailed me immediately. Chase Oliver said he tried to do a podcast. Things didn't really work out. Dude, I'm going to tell you right now, doing something on the solo by yourself, and today it's hard.
Oh, it's hard. Yeah, it's a lot of fucking work, man. I mean, it is. Now, getting to what probably everybody's here to us talk about, the UFC on FX.
So I guess, what are we, about 3 minutes in? Well, there'll be someone down there who tagged MMA starts at.
Yeah, so I'll let you guys know. We're now, the MMA news starts. Maynard versus Clay
Guida. Whatever. On UFC on FX. This is going to be in Jersey. It's going to be on a Friday, but then it's going to be followed up with another card the next day, which is unique.
It's pretty unique. I don't know. Well, this one's actually going to be free for all you people that have FX in the States. I don't know if FX. God damn. That mug is dirty. There's going to be a bunch of stuff. Obviously, you're going to have the card on Facebook, which is going to have a couple people like Ken Stone, Ricardo Funch, Dan Miller, Francisco Riviera. And then they're going to have a bunch of fights that are going to be obviously on Fuel TV. And some of the big names that are going to be on that are going to be Matt Brown,
Rick Story,
and
Ramsey Najim.
Yeah, we'll be pulling for Ramsey. Yep. But there's going to be some decent names on what would be considered the undercard there, huh?
Hayoki's fighting.
Yeah, Hayoki's fighting as well. Now, we're here to talk about the main fucking card. And the first fight we're going to talk about, obviously, going to be
Ross Pearson.
One of my favorite guys from across the pond. I really like this guy.
It's the only one I like.
I really do like Ross Pearson a lot. I would pull for him to go as far as I would love for him to win this class, be the top of the featherweight class. That's going to be a stretch, but Ross Pearson's going to be going up against Cub Swanson, who has been around
since the dawn of time.
Yes. Now, Pearson.
This is his second fight at 145. Right. He won his debut at 145. We know Ross Pearson is one of the few guys from across the pond who actually has punching power.
Right.
I'm not knocking you English fighters, but let's face it, not a lot of you guys are KOing cats. Not Bisping, Bisping's been going the distance as of late, but I think Ross Pearson has a chance to finish this with Cub Swanson. Cub Swanson's an old vet, been doing this a long time. Yeah. Even though Cub's last one was via TK or reverse knockout. Via knockout. So I think this is going to stay standing. I don't see either one of these. And if this does go to the ground, it'll probably be Pearson trying to force it there. Right. But hopefully he doesn't wrestle too much, and they keep this thing standing, and they just beat the piss out of each other.
Who do you got?
Pearson.
Yep. Deuce that shit up. Now, Brian Ebersole versus TJ Waldburger.
Okay. Greatest last name ever.
Greatest Waldburger, you know?
Yeah.
It'd only be better if it was Waldo Burger.
Ebersole's 3-0 in his UFC, and his last loss was in 2008.
Try to say Ebersole and not sound ghetto.
Ebersole.
Ebersole is 3-0, yeah.
And then Waldburger, or let's just go with TJ. That's safer. He's 3-1, and his one loss out of those 4 fights was to Johnny Hendricks, and we know where Hendricks is at.
Yeah, he's on his way to knocking everybody out.
Yeah, Hendricks is and
not getting through airport security.
Well, no, he shaved his beard. He's straight.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he shaved it off. And the thing I find interesting about Johnny Hendricks, not to get off this Brian Ebersole TJ fight, is Hendricks is being ducked.
Yeah, I would. I mean, honestly, you know what? Who wants to? If you're climbing up the ladder and Hendricks is the next fucking rung, you don't want to fucking.
If you're the champ, you fight who's the #1 contender.
Condit doesn't want any part of that.
Condit doesn't.
Condit doesn't want it. I mean, I know, and there's going to be some people that disagree with us, but I mean, Condit sits back and says, okay, if I can wait and GSP can get healthy and I can get this fight. But he knows that Hendricks.
Right, and if not, he called out Campman. He didn't call out Hendricks. He called out Campman.
Who do you think's the hungriest welterweight out there right now?
Hendricks.
And I mean, he's going to be the most dangerous, you know?
And with that said, I have TJ winning this fight.
Right. Now, next fight is going to be Sam Stout versus Spencer Fisher.
Stout does not finish fights.
No, 8 out of 9 of his fights have gone to decision. So, I mean...
But he is a striker. So, I'm not sure how you're a striker and you haven't luckily just landed that good, nice, sweet punch that gets him on Queer Street and jump on him and finish it.
Yeah.
It's hard for me to believe in 9 fights you haven't... just one time? One time.
Yeah. Now, I'm going to tell you what. If there's a chance that he could get out of that not being able to finish fight slump... It could come now because Fisher's kind of struggling.
Yeah,
I mean the guy's he's 1-4 in his last 5, I think.
Yeah,
and
they both have the one thing these guys both have in common is their last fights were versus Thiago Tarvis.
Yeah, and
they both lost, but Fisher lost via TKO. So with that said, I think Stout's going to win this via TKO.
Yeah, he could do that. I would have to go with Stout. Even though he doesn't finish things. I think if the fight gets long, I think you're going to get the decision out of Stout anyway. Yeah. You know, I mean, he's obviously a master of decisions.
You know what, Kevin and I have harped a little bit on these free cards. Like the last video we did was, oh, it's a free card. Oh, it's free. That's what was good about it. Right. On paper, this has potential to be an exciting card. On paper,
for
free.
And we have another video that's coming out, and it'll be out there. And honestly. And while saying it's UFC 147, I honestly think they should have swapped it.
Yeah.
I would pay for this as opposed to UFC 147. Yeah. I think the headline is the only thing that's going to make people pay for UFC 147.
And I'm going to tell you right now, I'm telling Kevin, we don't need to buy 147. So I'm giving you straight up the honest truth because that's what we do here. Right. When you see our review of 147, that shit's going to be because we read it. Yeah. If you have a problem with that shit, don't fucking tune in. I'm not going to convince him to spend his $65 on that fucking pile of
I mean, you got to, and this is why. I mean, look at this, which is a free card. Look at Gray Maynard versus Clay. I mean, these two guys now
are fighting A for something, and B, they're both high motor guys.
Guys, you know it's going to, there's no way, it would be a major surprise if there's a fucking boring fight.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
I find that hard to believe. And even though Gray did not go the distance in his last fight, which if you look at his record is astounding.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Gray is the distance master.
Right.
If he can keep it going for 15 minutes or 25 minutes, he'll try that.
Yeah.
But last time he got finished by Frankie in the second round via TKO.
Yeah. So I mean, this fight, this has the potential of a fucking high energy, exciting fight. Now on the UFC 147, which we talked about in the other video, you're looking at some point in time it comes the names. Like it's the names. Vondelay, Rich Franklin. It's two big names. It doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be the best fight. We got another one of those coming up. Forrest Griffin is fighting
Tito Ortiz.
Two big names, so everybody's paying for the names, but you're not getting an exciting fight. That's just my opinion.
Right, and let's be honest. If you're going to give me named fighters who are fighting basically for nothing but a win, because they're not fighting for a shot at the belt, they're not fighting for a #1 contendership. I mean. Yeah. I'd rather pay to watch Gray and Clay go at it because the winner here is going to get a shot at the title. I would imagine.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
So,
I'm actually really looking forward to this fight. I think it's going to be a good fucking entertaining fight.
Well, this will be whether I get on the Gray Maynard bandwagon and become a fan, or if I continue harping on the man saying he's really not that good.
Yeah. I mean, I think he's good, but I just think, you know what, you better be good when you fight.
Well,
he's going to come at you for fucking 3 rounds.
It's unfortunate because I hope Clay goes back to his old, I'm trying to finish the fight and not try to Greg Jackson himself to a win. And that's win by points.
Right.
And that's one of the things we also are going to talk about in our other video is what's wrong, what's the biggest problem with MMA right now?
A lot of things. Anyway.
Right.
Well, anyway, who you have in this fight? We never said that.
No, I think Clay's going to win via decision.
I think, you know what? I'm gonna give it to Guida as well. I think for some reason or another he is so high energy, and if this gets deep, I've seen the problem with Maynard is as good as he is, we saw with, you know, both times when he fought Frank Yeager. I mean, basically he gets winded. He falls apart. He comes on hard the first rounds, and then, though not being able to sustain that throughout the fight, he comes on hard. Yeah.
He comes on real hard to start. Oh, all right. Hey, guys. Just happy to see me.
And he can't sustain it.
He needs some Cialis. Some Viagra's.
Yeah, he needs some Cialis for his fights. But anyway, we're going to wrap it up. Don't forget to tell us the worst fucking movie that you've ever seen.
Worst, and don't do some random B-rated movie in some other language, and no Bollywood shit either. Let's keep this shit in America where we might have seen it.
Yeah, and take your ass over to iTunes and find the Kevin White Show and the Uncut Truth.
And here's the other thing: let me know if you can Netflix that shit.
Yeah, definitely.
Deuces.
Yeah, that's true. Good point. We're out.